Hello, I'm back with your day 15 and final day of Leagues 5 reveals. And today's reveal was bigger than I thought it would be. I thought maybe they would announce the final two relics, but they actually announced the final five relics. Yes, that's right. There are five new relics. There's actually 8 tiers this league again. I was kind of speculating that there might only be 7 tiers this league because combat masteries maybe kind of took up a tier without taking up a tier. The tier list was also announced. First, let's just watch a quick video on today's announcement. When they were showing this video live, I was wondering what was happening because they'd showed two relics, and I seen Equilibrium, and I thought, thank God, because this to me is just such a boring relic that I'm happy that I don't have to decide to pick it. But then they continued to show more and more relics, so it was pretty exciting to watch. Really, the only update for Equilibrium is it's now showing you how much experience you got overall with it. You have a kingdom one, so you can just do kingdom, and it gives you kingdom stuff hourly instead of daily now. So it's just a massive source of resources. And you have a clue score relic, so you're going to be getting your clues more frequently. You get the max amount of rewards and the lowest number of steps possible, similar to last league. And you don't need items anymore to do emote clues and all of that stuff. It's very nice. And I was wondering how they could make the Slayer relic better, and they answered it easily today. This is maybe the best Slayer relic they've had. I think it is easily the best Slayer relic they've had. And of course, you got Production Prodigy, Production Master. That was my tier 1 relic last league and one of mine, and it's so nice to have that too. So now let's take a look at each of these individually. Starting with Equilibrium, I'll just read what they do and give my thoughts on them. So each time you gain experience, you gain additional experience equal to 10% of your total level. And additional experience given by this relic is not multiplied by the league experience. So if your total level is 2,000 and you clean an herb, you're going to get 200 experience for that herb cleaning, which is nice, but you won't get it multiplied by 16 if you have the max multiplier. It'll be 3,200. It won't be 3,200. It will only be 200 throughout the whole league. Or if you gain more total level, obviously you'll get a little more. Same. You actually get 20% instead of 10% if you're in the lowest skill. So if herb is your lowest skill and your total level's 2,000, you're gonna get 400 experience for cleaning an herb. It's not bad, but it's just not, you know, strong to me. It's kind of boring. It also says Equilibrium will trigger per instance of an individual XP provided, even if that is multiple times in a single tick. So if you have Production Prodigy stacked with this, or Production Master, and you have a full inventory of 28 herbs, and going back to my 2,000 skill total example, you'll get 200 experience for each one of those herbs cleaned, so you'll get 5,600 herb experience extra. Now, it is nice, but like with the modifiers and everything you're getting in leagues already, it just feels a little underwhelming to me. If you're chasing extra experience, it's certainly fine, but to me, it's a little on the weak side. Uh, so the second relic reveal we got was Pocket Kingdom. And upon choosing this relic, it'll allow you full access to the managing miscellanea feature from anywhere. Workers will work for 50% less coins, always have max appeal, and produce twice as many resources, and accrue resources every hour instead of every day. Now, this increases the power, I would say, of something like Golden God, because now money has a little bit more value. Because normally, what you do in the main game, or what you can do, and what I do sometimes when I remember, is I do 7.5 million in the main game, and that usually lasts for like 3 months, so 90 days. I don't know the exact number. I think it's 75k a day. Um, so now it's going to cost you 30k a day, but the day actually turns into an hour. So you're going through probably 700k a day, or something along those lines, using this relic, which, after 10, 20 days, that kind of adds up. So you start to spend a little bit more money. So this gives you a reason for money in the game a little bit more, and you're going to get just a lot of resources out of it. A lot of bird nests. It's a good way to get bird nests. It's a good way to get seeds for trees. That's a good way to get herbs, or like teaks and mahoganies for construction. This is just a nice resource collecting relic, especially if you have money. So something like Golden God. I'd have to double check what tier the relics are in, and I will do that at the end of this. But I believe that's in your tier 6 relic up against, or tier 7 maybe, up against Grimoire and Overgrown. So you'll be getting this late too. And I believe Equilibrium is in the tier 4 against choosing a second relic and Golden God. And I believe these last three are competing against themselves. As is the case in most leagues, it seems Equilibrium, or not Equilibrium, the treasure clue, the treasure, as is the case in most leagues, will have a treasure hunting clue relic competing with a Slayer relic. And this league, they're also competing against the production prodigy or production mastery. But let's look at what they all do. These are usually some nice choices to pick from. So the treasure arbiter, you gain the following benefits when clue hunting. Impling jars and creatures that drop clue scrolls have a 1 in 15 chance of dropping them. So I believe it is cut. It's an increased chance. You'll get them a lot. And because the way clues work in leagues, you can actually stockpile a bunch of the clue boxes instead of like just going and doing the clue every 10 kills you get. And you can collect clues for a while before just doing a bunch at once. Clue geodes, clue nest, and clue bottles are found 10 times more often. And last league, I think it was the same rate with this relic, and I was getting hundreds of easy clues. Medium clues were kind of rare to get. For some reason, like I got a bunch of them, but I was getting hundreds of easy clues, and medium and hard. Overall, I was getting hundreds, like combined, all of the clue types just for like fishing. So you'll find all the clues you need just from skills. All clue scrolls have the lowest number of steps possible for their tier. This is really nice. Beginner clues will have 1 step, and then they're done. Combining this with a clue compass teleport relic, you're doing 100 beginner clues in probably less than 5 minutes. It's that fast. And then the easy clues, I believe, are 2-step. Medium are 3, I want to say. Hard, it pretty much goes up 1 mostly for each one, for minimum number of steps. So you don't end up getting stuck doing like a 6-step hard clue or 7-step hard clue. I think it's 4 steps maximum. So it just speeds up the process of doing clues. It's not quite as powerful, this league, with Clue Compass if you're taking Clue Compass, because you can get to steps so much quicker, but it's still very nice. Emote, Follow, and Charlie Clue steps no longer have item requirements. This is pretty nice, actually, especially in leagues when you're struggling to find that item that's normally kind of easy in the main game. I'm just going to use the room plate as an example. It's not maybe the best example because I think everyone might have access to Edgeville for like buying one. But like if there's a clue step in Shiloh where you have to blow a kiss with the Mystic Hat on, the broom plate, and the Bone Spear, those items in the main game are obviously kind of easy to get a hold of. But in the side game here, the League's version, it might be hard to get your hands on like a Mystic Hat or the room plate or the Bone Spear. All 3 of those might be a little bit more annoying to get your hands on. So getting that clue step is like kind of a pain in the leagues. It can be, or there's other examples. That's just the one I'm using because that's the one I thought of. But now you won't have to get any of the items. You can just do the clue. And also, if you're doing a bunch of clues all at once, you're also not swapping out your gear constantly when you get another emote clue or a clue where you have to bring a certain item to follow. You just go do the step, and you don't need to grab anything. So it makes clues like a lot faster. Um, and then every clue squirrel casket will roll max amount of rewards and can give. It can roll the same item more than once. So it says it down here. Actually, I was guessing the times before, but I'm blind. It's or no, actually no, just kidding. This is the rolls you get, not the amount of steps. Sorry. So it can roll the same item. So it pretty much, from what I'm gathering from this, is that you just get more good rewards from your clues, and you're not getting a bunch of junk items. I believe clue unique rates are up in leagues as well, normally without this. So I think last leagues, one of my clues, I got 6 unique items, which might not seem great because a lot of it's not that useful, but a lot of the tasks last year, and I think they're coming back this year, are getting unique items from clues and unique collection log slots in general. Like you get bonus task points for getting like 50 collection log slots filled and 100 collection log slots filled, and then you also get bonus points for getting 25 unique beginner items, 25 unique easy items, so on and so forth. Like, and you also get unique tasks for completing a certain amount. So like doing 25 beginner clues, doing 50 beginner clues, doing 100, like, and it's got like a beginner, easy, medium, hard, elite, and master versions of all of those. So like, so assuming it comes back the same way or in a similar way, where a ton of the tasks are attached to clues, just taking this relic and maybe even combining it with the clue compass, you're going to get a lot of tasks done that you wouldn't normally be able to, or not normally as quickly. So the clue relic was extremely powerful last league, and I expect it to maybe be the same this league. I think it's lost a little bit of its strength with the clue compass being able to teleport to the clues, because even if they take longer, you're doing them so quickly. But combining the two can provide some absolutely powerful uh, synergy. Next, we're going to look at production master. When doing the following production activities, all items are processed. So all items are processed at once. So basically, that means if like you have a full inventory or something and you want to fletch it, like bows, it does everything at once. So if you have a full inventory of magic logs and you want to make them magic longbows, all you have to do is click once and it does them all in one tick. This one is decent when combined with equilibrium, I think too. Like I poo poo on equilibrium, but this production master combined with it does make it a little better. There are some nice combos with it, I think. But here's what you get out of it. So when you're smelting ores, smithing bars, and making cannonballs, they all just get made at once. Fletching logs, stringing bows, making arrow shafts, and cutting bolt tips, again, they're all just made at once. And with things like the arrow shafts, or actually, I think it explains it up ahead here. Making headless arrows, regular arrows, bolts, and darts capped at 10x the regular amount per action. So if you have like 15,000 arrows you're wanting to make, it doesn't just make all of them in one tick. Normally, when you do like make arrows, it'll do 150. You'll have to click it, and then it'll make 150 more, like 15 at a time. Now it'll make 150 at a time, basically. So it's just 10x speed. So you still have to do 15,000 arrows, but it's 150 per click instead of 15 per click. Well, like all at once. So you're not really saving clicks for the arrows, but you're saving like time. Cleaning herbs and making potions which do not have a stackable secondary ingredient. So things like stamina potions aren't instant made, it sounds like, but things like, super strength potions, you'll be able to make 14 and 14 all at the same time. Um, Cooking food, making pies or pizzas, and making jugs of wine is another one. So just making food, basically. And then crafting leather, uncut gems, glass blowing, jewelry, pottery, battle staffs, and spinning flax of wool. It's all good. This is a solid relic. I really enjoyed it last league when I took it. It's weaker though than last week looking at it, because last league you also gained, I think it was a 25% additional amount created. So if I cut like 100 sapphires, I obviously I'd only cut like 25 at a time or whatever. I would get an additional like 5 to 10 sent to my bank, or if I did 100, I get like 25% to my bank. But last league, it was like a 10 to 25% chance. I don't remember the actual value, but you gain additional items that were sent to your bank when you were doing any of these processes. But that's not there this league, which is kind of surprising to me that they didn't keep that part of it because it made it a little better. But it's again, it's not a bad relic still, especially like I said, if you combine it with equilibrium. But we will see what it's up against exactly in a minute here. And lastly, you have the Slayer Master. Always on task for all eligible Slayer monsters. Unlock all Slayer task perks for free. That's things like extending your Slayer task, like Abbey Demons as an example. Like normally you get like 150, but now it's 250. But at the same time, that part isn't that important because of what I just read first. I'll go back to the first thing in a minute, but I just want to read it all first. Rune pouches, herb sacks, and looting bags in the Slayer Point store are all free. So that means you can instantly go buy yourself a rune pouch to save yourself inventory space. If you're not taking the second tier item for the free herb sack, you can get it here for free. And looting bags, if you're doing wild, that's also free. Skip and block task for free. So if you didn't like your Slayer task, you can just skip it and go to the next one. Or if you don't like a Slayer task in general, you can just block it. So it's kind of like picking your own Slayer task right there. And then the last thing, gain 1,000 to 15,000 bonus Slayer experience for the first time you kill the 100th of each unique Slayer monster, scaled by the monster's Slayer level requirement, and the experience stated is before multipliers. So the 15,000 bonus might not feel like much, but if you're multiplying that by 16, you're getting like 225k, 240k. I don't know, math is hard, for just killing your 100th Slayer monster of that type. And I imagine things like Abbey Demons will be giving you the higher end of that. So it's a nice little bonus bump up to your Slayer experience. Now, going back to that first thing, always on task for all eligible Slayer monsters. I believe that means that any tasks that the Slayer Masters can give you will just be considered on task. So you can wear your Slayer helmet on any of those monsters and also get Slayer experience for them, even if you're off task. So if I wanted to go kill a Raxor, and I could just do it. I don't have to have a task for it in Mauritania. That's the way I'm interpreting this one right now. The info just came out, so maybe I'm a little off on this one. But it seems to me like anything you're killing in the game should pretty much be an eligible Slayer monster outside of maybe like raids. So everything is Slayer now, it sounds like, with this relic. One last thing I do want to check before we close out this video is the final tier list is right here. Pause this here quick. So this looks like how it's going to end up being right here. They kind of showed it to us today. We don't know like how many points you need just yet. That'll come maybe today yet, or maybe tomorrow, or just when the league comes out. But we knew the first ones already were going to be the tools, and we kind of knew the first 4 already from yesterday's review of Reloaded. But now we know that's also up against Equilibrium. We didn't know after that what any of the tiers were in order, but we were kind of guessing. So your tier 5s are going to be Production Master, Slayer Master, and Treasure Arbiter. Your tier 6 is going to be Total Recall and Banker's Note. Your tier 7 is going to be the Pocket Kingdom, the Grimoire, and the Overgrown Relic. And your tier 8 are your combat relics, the Specialist, Guardian, and Last Stand. So that's a lot of information to put out. Let me hide my cam for a second so people can see that. So yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is a lot for the final reveal.